everybody. I wanted to come on today and talk to you about a pretty personal topic for myself. One of the leading causes of issues in people today is anxiety and depression. I myself suffer from severe manic depressive disorder as well as generalized anxiety disorder, and I also have post-traumatic stress disorder. I was in a very, very difficult and abusive relationship when I was younger. I will get into that story in a little bit here. I'm going to let you guys in a little bit into who I am. I want to be able to connect with you guys on a personal level, and that's why I decided to talk to you about this today. It's a very, very difficult subject for me to talk about, but I think that it's something that we need to discuss. There's so many people out there today that are suffering with anxiety, depression. I mean, I have some statistics here. Bear with me. I have some statistics here from the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, and according to their statistics, in America alone, anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the United States, affecting over 40 million adults ages 18 plus. Now, I want that number to soak in there for a second. 40 million people. And even though this is a highly treatable disease, out of that 40 million people, only 36.9% decide to seek medical treatment. That leaves a large, large chunk that are dealing with this situation and trying to deal with this without being medicated. I myself, I take medication. That's just the way I am. I know that medication's not for everybody, which is another reason why I try to bring you videos that are focusing on the positive and giving you ways that you can try to deal with stress and anxiety and all these other issues, because I know some people just don't want to take medication and they need help in order to just be able to live daily. Anxiety disorder can be caused by a number of different things, as well as depressive disorder can be caused by a number of different things. One of the largest things is genetics. I know both anxiety and depression run very strongly in my family. So genetics is a big factor in it. Brain chemistry. I mean, literally all it is brain waves that are going through your head. I mean, it's just basically neurons in your head that just aren't functioning quite correctly. Your personality, and then life events. I personally think that I've always suffered from depression and anxiety, a little bit more depression than anxiety, because I remember when I was younger, I would be exuberating a lot of characteristics of depression, even though I didn't act upon it. I didn't tell my parents or anybody else that I was feeling that way, but I remember feeling that way sometimes. And back then, mental health issues weren't exactly as accepted as they are now. One of the biggest causes for my anxiety and my depression was my abusive relationship. I was in an incredibly verbally, emotionally, and physically abusive relationship for about 3.5, 4 years of my life. And that ultimately catapulted and ended up with me having a broken neck. Some of you out there may know this story already, but I will go into it for those of you who don't. My ex-husband and I got into an argument one night over something petty and ridiculous, and he lost his temper and he pushed me and kind of threw me, I should say, into my basement door. And it was a tri-folding door, so the door actually split in half, and I ended up going neck first into the basement cement wall. That in turn broke my C3 and 4 discs, bulged my C3 and 4 discs, it broke my C5 and 6 discs. And so I left shortly after that. Like I said, it was about 3.5, 4 years of abusive relationship, and that was the absolute catapult of it. It was not too shortly after that I decided that it just was not worth it anymore, and I left. About a year later, I actually I ended up getting severe migraines, and so I went to the doctor about these severe migraines because they were happening every day, and they couldn't find anything through the x-rays or anything like that, so they sent me to a specialist, and then the specialist saw that I had broken and bulged discs, but he thought that we could take care of it through steroid shots, cortisone shots. But I did that once, and it took the migraines away for a day, and that was it. So then my mom went with me the next time, and my mom actually demanded that I go to the cities, the Twin Cities, where she went. So they sent me up to the cities, and I went up there on September 4th of 2010, and by October 28th, I believe it was, of 2010, I was in surgery because the C5 and 6 were broken, and they were actually just a fraction of a hair away from my spine. So if they would have touched my spine, I would have been paralyzed. So yeah, I had to go in and get that fixed, and then C3 and 4 are actually still bulging, and I also have disc degenerative disorder, which just basically means that my discs are degenerating as I get older. So now I have issues on C6 and 7 level as well. So yeah, after that traumatic experience and going through all of that abuse and the neck surgery and the trauma from that, I actually ended up just shutting down. And I kind of became a shell of what I used to be, of the person that I used to be. And I still battle this all the time, like literally all the time, every single day. There's thoughts that are going through my head, normal thoughts that people with anxiety and depression suffer from. It's a lot. I think a lot of us have the same issues. You may not have actually gotten them the same way as what I experienced, but either way around, nobody is better off than anybody else, or nobody had it worse or anything like that. If you're dealing with anxiety and depression, that alone is enough. Like, that alone is bad enough. We don't have to compare each other's experiences and say, oh, well, this person shouldn't be feeling this way because they didn't have anything happen to them. I went through all this stuff and I'm fine. That stigma right there alone is what is causing the people, the 36.9% of people out there that don't want to seek help, that's what's causing them to not seek help, because they are going to be judged. And that's why I wanted to make this video today, because like 25.1% of children aged 13 to 18 years old are dealing with anxiety or depression today. If we keep the stigma going as far as like judging people, not only just if they have anxiety or depression, but on what range they are, like, oh, well, she may have it, but it's not that bad. Or she may have it, but I have it worse. Like, if we keep on doing that, then what do you think our kids are going to be doing? Do you honestly think that the situation is going to get any better? No, it's going to get worse, because eventually that stigma is going to come back, and we're going to go right back to the way that we were when we were kids, when, a person with a mental health disorder was not a regular patient. They were crazy. They belonged in an asylum. That's the way that everybody always thought back then. This isn't just a problem in the United States either. I want to make it clear that this is a worldwide problem. Depression is the leading cause for disability worldwide, according to the Anxiety Depression Association of America. And 1 out of 13 globally suffers from some sort of anxiety disorder, whether that be OCD, generalized anxiety disorder, the list goes on and on. So I wanted to take a minute and just explain my story to everybody and explain kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing. There is a reason why I'm on here and why I'm preaching meditation and, certain parenting techniques that I use to calm myself down, or ways that I deal with stress. And it's basically just because I know that there's a lot of people out there that are dealing with the same situations as I am, or even if they don't have anxiety or depression, they're just dealing with stress. Today's society is incredibly, incredibly stressful. So I think it's very important for people to have an outlet and have somebody to say, hey, listen, this might not work for you, but it worked for me. And I think that we could all benefit a little bit more from being there for each other, as far as any type of community goes, whether it's the regular YouTube community or a wrestling community or a community like this one where it's, peaceful motivation, relaxing type encouragement. We could all benefit from unity. And that's what I wanted to tell everybody today. Just be kind to one another. Be kind to one another and understand that not everybody is facing the same battles that you are. Some people have it worse, some people have it better. But either way around, everybody in this world is facing some sort of battle. Don't judge.